Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad that you're watching. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the different reasons why your UK visa application could be denied or could be refused. And just a little background, as you might already be aware, unlike the US Embassy, for example, where you get a chance to explain yourself and to answer questions from the consular, the visa officer who's handling your case, with the UK Embassy, you do not get a chance to go to the embassy, and neither do you get a chance to speak to a visa officer. So that means that the visa officer depends 100% on the information that you supply in your application. That means that you must, as an applicant, ensure that all the information that you provide is accurate, is complete, and it gives a clear picture of your financial as well as your social status. So something else I want to mention is that all the reasons that I'm going to give here are reasons that are based on the letters of denial that was given to visa applicants that were denied, and these are the exact reasons that the visa officer gave for denying their visas. So these are real people's testimonies of why the visas were denied and the exact reasons that the visa officer gave. And again, as usual, I'm going to be talking about a tourist visa or a visit visa. That is a visa that the only reason why you're going to the UK is for pleasure, or maybe just a 1 or 2 day visit, or maybe a week or two, and you're coming back, and it's not let's say travel for school or immigrating. So that's something I wanted to put out through first. So without much further ado, so the number one reason why your visa application could be denied is when you introduce too many relationships or people in your application. So remember, one thing that the UK Home Office does when you submit your application is to conduct a background check, not just on you, but for every single individual that you list in your application. So try as much as possible to minimize the number of people you introduce in your application, because it not only delays your application, but in the event that one of those people who you have mentioned in your application has a weird or a flimsy background, it could lead to a refusal of your visa. So make sure that you only put those relationships that are important, so maybe 1 or 2 people only in your application. The number 2 reason why your UK visa application could be denied or refused is when the bank statement you have submitted shows some significant large deposits, but you have not provided documentation to explain where the sources of funds come from or why they were deposited into your account. So make sure to have documented evidence for every deposit that is in your account. And that, let's say for example, if you sold a house and that's why the money was paid to you, include a sale agreement, or if it's rental income, you can attach a rent lease. If it's a company bonus that was paid to you, make sure you attach the company, the letter that the company sent to you to show how much your bonus would be. So make sure for every deposit that is large enough, and large here maybe could be something that is not proportionate to the salary that you're getting, is documented. The number 3 reason why your UK visa application could be rejected is that your application does not demonstrate that your host in the UK has invited you to the UK for the purpose you have stated. So for example, let's say you put in your application, I am going for, I don't know, my sister's graduation, but the letter that my sister has invited me doesn't include that fact that I am going there for the graduation. That alone is a reason why my UK visa application could be denied. So make sure when your sponsor or your host is writing you an invitation letter, they clearly state the reason why they're inviting you, and make sure that is the reason that you write in your application. The number 4 reason why your visa could be denied is whereby you have had a previous visa refusal, but there's been no change in your circumstance. So for example, if your previous refusal notice outlined the fact that you have not, let's say you do not have a job, for example, and then you go back again and apply when you do not have a job, or you already have a job but you do not indicate in your application that now you have a job, that is a reason for your visa to be denied. And How do you go about this? Make sure that when you're applying for the second or the third time, you write a detailed cover letter that explains the previous refusal reason and how your circumstances have changed since then for each of the reasons why your visa was denied. Number 5 reason why your visa could be denied is if there is a significant age gap between you and your UK boyfriend or girlfriend that is inviting you. So for example, let's say I met this 90-year-old guy on the internet and now he's inviting me to the UK to visit him. And let's say I'm like 19 years old, so well, you could get a visa, your relationship could be genuine, but it appears more like it may be more of a business relationship than an actual romantic or love relationship. So the best way to go about this is maybe you could formalize your relationship to show how serious you are, or just find another reason to go to the UK. And then the number 6 reason for your UK visa not being approved or for it being denied is when you don't submit all the requested documents. So when you go through your UK application page, there's usually a checklist of the kind of things that are expected of you. The moment you do not provide all the documentation, remember your visa could be denied. And again, unlike other embassies, you do not get a chance to explain yourself or why you didn't include that document. So that alone could lead to denial of your visa. The number 8 reason why your visa could be denied is when you provide property documents with your application, but these documents do not demonstrate that you generate an income from them, and you have stated that you generate income from them. So for example, if I say I own rental property in Kisumu and that's where my source of funds come from, I must attach a record or a document showing the rental income payments that's coming from that building. So this could be a bank statement, it could show a rent lease agreement, and any other form to authenticate that actually I am getting money from these documents, from these buildings that I have indicated on my visa application. The number 9 reason why your visa could be denied is where you state that you have an online business, but the documents you have provided do not demonstrate that this business, or that you make money from this business. So again, like in the form of the property that you say you generate income from, when you say you have an online business or any business for that matter, make sure you attach things or documents that show you actually make an income from those businesses you have indicated. So this, for example, could be your M-Pesa statement, it could be your PayPal statement, it could be like if you're using Payoneer, or you could also just attach a screenshot of the sales transaction page of your online business. So if let's say it's an Etsy business, usually there's a column that shows the sales that you have had, as well as how much you have made on the sales. And if you're getting paid via PayPal, there's actually a column that shows where the money came from, so you could attach that. And also, if you haven't registered your business, make sure to register your business and attach your certificate of registration. You could also attach your tax return certificate that shows you have actually made some money and paid your taxes. The number 10 reason why your visa could be denied is where the documents you have provided do not demonstrate how you intend to support yourself or how you currently support yourself in your home country, and therefore they do not accurately represent your financial circumstances back home. So how would you go about it? For example, make sure you attach a pay slip if you have a job. Make sure you attach an employment letter if you're employed. Make sure you clearly indicate in your bank statement, make sure your bank statement clearly indicates your salary history for at least 6 months, and make sure that your employer writes they have given you leave of absence and that you will come back to your job once you come back from the UK. So it's important that you clearly demonstrate how you support yourself back home. Number 11 reason why your visa could be denied is whereby you mention in your application that you have X amount of money in your bank account, but the bank statement you submit shows X plus Y or X minus Y amount. How do you go about correcting this? Make sure that you're consistent and you accurately fill in your application, and everything you fill in your application must match all the documents that you provide. So if I say, for example, that I have a savings of, $20,000, I must have the backed up similar amount in my bank statement or any other form of document. Another reason why your UK visa could be denied is not providing enough proof of your relationship with your UK host. So for example, if I say I'm going to the UK to visit my husband or to visit my sister, I need to actually give documented evidence of our relationship. So for example, if I'm going to visit my husband, I must produce a marriage certificate. If I'm going to visit my sister, I could produce something that's so maybe like a birth certificate would show that we all have the same mother or the same father. However, you should go further than that and show that your relationship is actually active. So for example, if you have been communicating on WhatsApp or on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever else you have been communicating, you've taken pictures together, make sure you take screenshots of these pages, download them, print them, and attach them to your application letter. You know, it's very important for the UK government or the UK Home Office to ascertain that you actually have an active relationship with these people that you claim to be hosting you or to be, you know, sponsoring your trip. Number 13 reason why your visa could be denied is when you do not have any official documents or you have not included any official documents that demonstrate how long you have been employed by your current employer. So again, in your employment letter, make sure that it shows how long you have been with that particular employer and details of your salary and the fact that you're actually on leave and that you will come back to be with them when you finish your visit in the UK. Number 14 reason is when you do not clearly or accurately demonstrate your income from your employment. So maybe in your application, you have stated that you are employed by employer XYZ. Make sure to attach a bank statement for at least 6 months that shows how your salary has been coming into that account. And this must match with the pay slip that you provide and the employment letter that your employer has given showing how much your salary is. Number 15 reason, again, why your visa could be denied is where your salary is not consistent with your bank statement. Again, this is like the issue I have mentioned above, whereby, for example, you say your salary is 20,000 net, but what is shown in your bank account is 15,000, for example. So make sure you have that consistency taken care of. The number 16 reason why your visa could be denied is when there are insufficient funds in your bank statement balance. So basically for me, what I usually work with is I calculate for every single day that I plan to be in the UK, I make sure I have at least £150 for every single day that I intend to be in the UK. So for example, if you're going to be in the UK for 10 days, make sure you, in my expenditure, I state £150 times 10. That's £1,500 money minimum that I should have in my bank statement. However, one other thing to also note is to make sure that the total trip expense, so for example, in this case, my total trip expense should not be more than 2 times my monthly salary. So for example, if my total trip expense at $150 per day for 10 days is $1,500, in that case, my salary must not be less than £3,000. Because again, we are trying to make sure that my total trip expense do not exceed more than 2 times my monthly salary. This is just to show the Home Office that when I come back, I have some backup money to fall on and I will not be motivated to stay in the UK to make money. Number 3, make sure that your total trip expenses are not more than half of your indicated savings. So for example, if I have stated my total trip expense is £150 per day for 10 days, which is 1,500, this total trip expense of 1,500 should not be more than half of my savings. So that means my savings must be at least 3,000 for a 1,500 expenditure, for example. I hope that's clear. Number 17 reason why your visa could be denied is when you do not have sufficient ties in your home country. So for example, if I'm going to the UK and I've made an application, I am single, I don't have a child, none of my parents are back home with me, I don't have any siblings, I don't have a job, I don't have a business back home, the chances of me being granted a visa are very slim because there's no perceived intervention of me coming back. So make sure If you don't have a wife, get one. You don't have a husband, maybe get one. Or if you're already married, make sure you insert your marriage certificate. Get yourself a plot of land if you have one. Get your title deed, include it in there. If you have a job, make sure you include an employment letter. Make sure you include your bank slips, your leave of absence, and all those things that show that you have reason to come back home. Number 18 is when you have provided a business bank statement instead of a personal bank statement. So remember again, whether your trip is being sponsored by yourself or by your business, to include your personal bank statement. According to the Home Office, the money generated by a business is supposed to run the business. It's not supposed to run your trips to the UK. So make sure you provide a personal bank statement, and this applies also in a situation where your employer is the one who's also sponsoring you. Make sure to always also include your personal bank statement to enable the visa officer to make a meaningful assessment of your financial circumstance back home. Number 19 reason why your visa could be denied is failure to demonstrate that you have any savings or property or income back home. Again, make sure you attach documented evidence that you have. Maybe if you have property, make your title deed there. If you have some apartment, make sure you put the lease document there. And if, let's say, you run a business, make sure you put your registration certificate, your sales transaction page, your tax compliance certificate to show the UK Home Office or the visa officer that is handling your case that you actually are running this business and you have a source of income. Number 20 reason why your visa application could be denied is when you provide only your savings account bank statement and not the one where your salary gets into. So make sure that whatever statement that you provide clearly indicates your monthly salary coming in if you're employed for at least, let's say, the last 6 months. And if you're running a business, it must show consistent income or deposits into the account. And make sure as well that even if you're providing your business bank statement, you also provide your personal bank statement. The number 21 why your visa could be denied is when your application again does not demonstrate that you receive a salary while you have indicated that you have a job. Again, same reason like number 20 above, make sure you include all this information. Number 22 is where your application number 23 is whereby you withdraw all the money from your bank statement month on month. Again, this basically indicates to the visa officer that you're either living above your means or that the current salary or money that you're making is not enough to take care of you in your home country. So how will it be sufficient to take care of you in another country? So again, try to live within your means to enable you have some leftover savings at the end of the month instead of wiping out your bank account. It shows negatively on you. Number 24 reason why your visa could be denied is when you have not attached a letter from the UK university or company or examination board saying that you have to visit the UK to write exams. This again is another common reason. There are some board exams that you have to sit in the UK, or let's say if you want to join the army, usually they ask you, the British Army, they ask you to go and sit your exam or do your interviews in the UK. So if you have stated that as your reason for visiting the UK, make sure you attach a letter from either the examination body, or if it's the British Army, make sure you have a letter of invite, or if it's an institution that is interviewing you, or if it's university, make sure you have a letter from them clearly indicating that they would like you to go to the UK for that particular purpose, whether it's an exam, it's an interview, whatever it is. And then number 25 reason why your visa could be denied is where you do not declare that you have a partner or a spouse, even though your child's birth certificate indicates details of a biological mother or father. So again, let's say for example, traveling to the UK or with my son or my daughter, and I have clearly indicated the father is Mr. whoever. But when I'm filling in the application, I say I do not have a husband or I do not have a wife. in that case, it's important for me to go further and explain why the birth certificate shows a father, but my application shows no spouse or partner. So again, indicate if you're divorced or if you're not married or for whatever reason, and make sure the father of the child as well issues a no objection letter that their child can travel to the UK. So again, or if the father, you don't know where he is or is absent, make sure you get an affidavit to explain the same. Do not take it for granted. Again, if you two are no longer together, let the other parent write the letter of no objection. If they're deceased, attach a death certificate. Number 26 reason why your visa could be denied is when the amount you intend to spend on your UK trip represents over half of your declared savings or over half of your month's salary. Again, as I've mentioned above, for me, I work with a ballpark figure of usually an average daily expense of £150 per day. Make sure all my total trip expenses are not more than 2 times of my monthly salary, and I always make sure again that my total trip expenses are not more than half of my indicated savings. Number 27 reason why your visa could be denied is when you don't indicate in your application what you tend to do in the UK. Again, this is very important. Make sure when you're writing out your cover letter, you include a detailed itinerary showing when you will arrive in the UK, what cities you're going to do, what you're going to do day by day, and all that information, make sure you provide it. And everything you plan to do in the UK for the period of time you're going to be there. Lack of that information is enough reason for your visa to be denied. Number 28 reason why your visa could be denied is when you do not attach a leave approval on a letterhead. Again, remember, if you have indicated that you are employed, you must give surety to the visa officer handling your case that you will come back to your job when your trip is finished and that you do not have any motivation to stay in the UK. So again, make sure you have, if it's not a separate letter showing you're on leave, in your employment introduction letter, make sure it includes what your job is, what your position is, how long you've been with the employer, how much is your salary, and also what leave days you have been given and when they intend to have you back at your job. Another reason why your visa could be denied, again, reason number 29 is lack of a travel history. So basically what that means is that you have never gone beyond the borders of your country, or you have gone but you have failed to indicate the same. So if you have never gone beyond your country, really that's what rocket science, just take a bus. If let's say you live in Kenya, take a bus, go to Tanzania, get a stamp. Take a bus, go to Uganda, get a stamp. Take a bus to Rwanda, or just take a flight to Cape Town. Like, you can start with all these other countries that are close by you and then get the stamps, show the visa officer that actually you're actually planning to travel. But again, usually sometimes even if you have traveled, they could deny you just based on the fact you have never gone beyond your continent. So let's say if you're based in Kenya and you have never gone beyond Africa, that alone could be reason for denial of your visa, because it's very difficult to convince a visa officer that Eva has never gone beyond Kenya, but suddenly now she wants to go and tour the UK. Come on. I mean, yeah. And then the number 30 reason why your visa could be denied is lack of sufficient documentation from your sponsor. So let's say I have said that my brother in the UK or my sister in the UK is going to host me, but they do not provide sufficient documentation for me to attach in my UK visa application. So for example, some of the things you could consider is a cover letter from your host in the UK saying they are going to host you. They will provide for your accommodation, your transport, your food, and all other related expenses. The letter must also include what is the relationship between you and your host. The sponsor must also include at least their 6-month bank statement showing how their salary has been coming in, and also they should show what job they are in, what they do. They could also include, if let's say they are British citizens, they could include their British passports. If they're permanent residents, let them include something that shows their legal residence status. Again, make sure you provide documented evidence of your relationship with, the sponsor must provide documented evidence of their relationship with you. So if it's like a husband, there should be like a marriage certificate. If it's like a father, a mother, there should be that birth certificate. So just make sure you have documents to prove your relationship. And again, as I mentioned earlier, to show that your relationship is active. Have you been having WhatsApp conversations, Facebook, Twitter, whatever that is? Make sure you take screenshots and attach them to your application. Number 31, reason why your visa could be denied is where you have indicated a super lengthy duration of stay in the UK compared to your intended purpose of visit. So for example, let's say you have this 1-day board exam by the Medical Board of the UK, but in your application you state that my reason for going to the UK is to sit for this board exam, but I'm asking for a visa, or my itinerary is like 3 weeks. Seriously? That alone could make your visa to be denied. Make sure your reason for attending, or your reason for requesting a visa is relatively like it makes sense with the period you're asking. So if it's for a weekend, you're going for a wedding, so maybe like 1 week would be sufficient for you to prepare and actually have the wedding. If it's a graduation, maybe 2 weeks, So make sure that your reason, intended purpose of visit, is proportional to your length of stay. Another reason why your visa could be denied is when you are currently not working or studying and you do not have a business. Again, this clearly gives the perception that once you step into the UK, you will have no motivation to come back home. Again, because you have nothing back to come to, it does not show any significant ties that you have back home. So again, get a job. If you have a business, make sure it's registered, or find something to do to increase your chances or perceived motivation to come back home. Again, number 33 reason why your visa could be denied is whereby you fail to declare a previous visa refusal on your application form. Again, when you'll be going through the application form for your UK visa, there's a section where they ask you, have you ever been denied a visa before? And it doesn't matter whether it was the UK embassy, US embassy, wherever embassy denied your visa, make sure you indicate it, because failure to declare this information is sufficient reason for your visa to be declined. Again, another reason why your visa could be denied is when there are just too many complications. You don't have a job, you don't have ties back home, you don't have property, you're not in school, like everything is just like working against you. Again, when it's too complicated like that, that alone could lead to visa denial. Another reason why your visa could be denied is when you come off as desperate. So let's say between when so maybe I applied for a visa the first time, like maybe a month ago, the visa was denied because of I didn't have a job, and then I don't get a job, but I go back again to the embassy after 2 weeks and I request for a visa, and then it's denied. And then after 2 weeks I go back again, I still don't have a job, I'm not married, like my circumstances hasn't changed, and I go back to the embassy like 5 times, So when you act so desperate, your visa will not only be denied, but you could actually be banned. And usually when they ban you like for 10 years. You're not allowed to go to the embassy or to even apply for a visa, or even to step on UK soil for 10 years. So don't act desperate. If your visa has been denied, the advantage of the UK embassy, when they deny your visa, they actually outline the reasons why your visa was denied. Make sure you address those reasons and that your circumstance has changed before you go back to make another application, and give it time. Don't act too desperate. Another reason why your visa could be denied is where, let's say, you have previously gotten a visa and went to the UK, and then you come back and now you're applying for a visa a second time. But the requested stay, so let's say I had requested to stay in the UK for a week. Then I get my visa, but I go to the UK and I stay for 5 months. So when there's that discrepancy between the stay I had requested for and how long I stay, and it's a very significant discrepancy, that could result in my visa being denied. So usually don't stay too long comparative to what reason you had indicated. So maybe like a week or so difference is understandable, but when you start going beyond 2 and 3 and months, that could lead to denial of your subsequent visa application. Another reason why your visa could be denied is whereby you use distant relatives as sponsors. So let's say, for example, I'm going to the UK and I indicate that my visa is going to be paid for by my mother-in-law's cousin. So avoid using very distant relatives. Usually stick to maybe like, I don't know, your brother or your mother, or your spouse, your child, as your host or as your sponsor, but avoid going for those distant relationships. And again, try to minimize the number of relationships you introduce in your application. Again, it just makes your application complicated and it delays your visa approval process. Another reason why your visa could be denied is where you're having too many intended purposes for travel. So let's say, for example, you say, I'm going to the UK for a business meeting, and then I'm going to go on vacation, and then I'm going to attend a wedding, and then I'm going to sit a board exam, and then I'm going to see my, try to minimize the intended purposes for your travel. So let's say if it's a business trip, stick to business. If it's going to be a wedding, stick to the wedding. If it's a graduation, stick to graduation. Don't introduce too many purposes or reasons for your travel. And then number 40 reason why your visa could be denied is not providing evidence that the business you have indicated in the application is still operational. So for example, if I say that my main source of income is my jewelry business, it's important that I attach a document that shows that this business is still operational. So in addition to the registration certificate, you could also attach like a sales transaction page or screenshot, and also make sure to attach your business bank statement because it shows how the money has been flowing in and out. Number 41 reason why your visa could be denied is when your sponsor doesn't include their financial details in your invite or in the invitation letter they give you. Again, see above I've indicated, and make sure that when your sponsor is writing the letter, they include their financial details, and this would include like their pay slip or a bank statement for about 6 months showing how their salary has been coming in, as well as their employment status. Number 42 reason why your visa could be denied is when you provide too many bank statements. So let's say I have, I don't know, I'm an account with Barclays, another one with Equity and Standard Chartered and CBA, and I attach all these bank statements and they each have like, I don't know, £200 here and 100, and try to minimize the number of documents that you provide, and only provide those documents that provide evidence to your financial situation. So when it comes to bank statement, for example, stick, for example, to the bank statement that shows your salary coming in over the last 6 months, and another one that shows your savings, for example. So don't provide too many. It's very easy for the visa officer to overlook when you provide too many documents. I'm not sure that it's the same bank or it's continuing or what currency, and there's no time for them to even do the conversions from, I don't know, GBP to Kenya shilling to Ghanaian, whatever. So just make sure that you only provide information that is necessary. That's it for today. I have provided you at least 40 different reasons why your visa could be denied. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, these were actual reasons that were written in visa declination letters that was given to different people who had applied for visas around the world. Let me know what your experience has been. Have you applied for a UK visa before? What reason were you given? Share with us in the comments below. And again, thank you for watching up to the end. Let me know if you liked this video by clicking the like button, and make sure you don't miss out on such future videos. Remember to hit the notification bell. Until next time, thank you for staying to the end, and see you in the next video.